Candace is here.
Candace.
Vito, do you have any need to show notes or anything else today?
Not that I know of.
Great.
I have a few notes here that we're going to be talking about, but
Wonderful. And Vito, we have a vegetarian meal today that we're making for them.
okay,
Since our lunch is going to be a little bit later, would you like a little snack to tide you over?
I think I'm good.
You're good?
I'll just wait and be real hungry when we eat the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a snack. Because for me, hangriness is real.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, so Candace and Clarissa, we got all the sea ladies covered.
Yes.
Those are the sea level. Those are the sea level
Yay.
leaders. The chief executive Candace and the chief executive Clarissa.
Nice. And I'll be right back in a moment.
So Candace, I love your smile on Zoom.
Thank you.
It just zooms
made
right
it
out at me.
Y'all, it's I hopped from one meeting that went to 11:30 and then got back in time to answer a student, and then here we are again.
All right. Beautiful. So I'm going to pull the curtain back here. So, hey, there's Tori. She's connected to audio. So Candace, this table is missing you.
Yes, I missed it, and the people around it, primarily.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yes.
Levi. Levi can't hear me and he can't read my lips. I'm too far away.
I'm just going to tell y'all now, I will probably be, I try to get here right at 12, but my lunchtime starts right at 12. So I might be 12:01 or 12:02 by the time I clock out and get back to this room. So,
Okay. Well, that's good. It's 12:03 and we're moving right along here. All right. There's April, Tori, which is Levi. April, I liked your picture. Unmute. Yes, look at that picture. So where did you take that picture, April?
I was in Atlanta at the convention last year. It was like a 20s night. And so,
Yes.
yeah.
So Levi, I see you having your drink there.
Yes, sir. Got some coffee going right now.
Oh, you're drinking coffee?
Yes, sir.
I'm having Trinity. I didn't go upstairs yet and get a bit of booch there to put some booch in the Trinity, but I'm just drinking straight Trinity here now.
Can't wait till you have some of the booch in there. I had some this morning.
Oh yeah. Well, that adds to the health benefits
That's right.
for sure. So Candace, are you going to be with us this Sunday evening? You're muted.
oh, that was so, okay. Yes, I'll be there. Sorry.
Okay,
I will be there.
good, because we missed you the last couple of Sundays.
Yeah. So my breathing has been tight on the weekends. I don't know if it's the winter weather change,
Yes,
but I've been wheezing and crawling from the living room to the bed to the living room on the weekends, but I'm doing better now.
okay, good. Well, that kind of puts a new meeting to a wheezing for the season.
Oh my God. Wow.
So there's April. She's shaking her head no at that popcorn dad joke.
That was a good dad joke. A reason for the season. I'm gonna have to remember that one.
Oh, the reason for the season.
Oh, man.
And Clarissa, I don't know if she's gonna stay muted the whole time, but she's doing a little wheezing for the season. She's had the flu this week.
Oh,
Kind of bold of her to even log on there. So, I posted a question. Let's see.
I didn't see the question.
Okay, I didn't want to edit. I wanted to go back. There it is. All right.
What's up, man?
Hey, here we go. Come on in. So I made this post on our group. How goes it, man?
Good.
I said, today we're talking about time management again. What would it look like to manage your time so you could join us for this? Chris said it would look amazing, but he didn't find time to join us here yet. So let's talk about time for a little bit. So it's interesting the way we approach the concept of time. We talk about it the same way we talk about money in just with our vocabulary. We lose it, we use it, we make it, we reserve it, we budget it, we talk about how fast it goes. So much of our vocabulary about time and money are the same. So I'll kind of begin this session on time management, maybe at the bottom of a rabbit hole. Instead of up here on the trail and then jump in a rabbit hole here, but start in the bottom of the rabbit hole. I remember one of my more dizzying thoughts about time was just from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, where the author of Ecclesiastes says that whenever he's talked about time, there's a time for everything, time and a season for everything, and that we have and that everything is beautiful in its own time and its own season. So if there's anything that I see that doesn't look beautiful, maybe I'm just looking at it at the wrong time. And that includes things that happen to us, things that we do, events in life and everything. But then the author of Ecclesiastes said that God has placed eternity in the heart of man. And that even with that, we don't know exactly what to do with it. And the reason I'm kind of stumbling after that is because that Hebrew phrase is very difficult to translate. It's translated different ways in different translations, but the main idea is that God has placed eternity in our heart. And here we are, we're involved with time, but we have eternity in our heart. So it's kind of like oil and water. It's kind of hard for the two to mix. And then I remember having this thought, that which is the more important of the two, time or eternity? Well, obviously eternity is, because it is, after all, eternal. Time had a beginning, it will have an end. Time was created. It came about as a result of creation. So it's a part of what we are and what happens, and it was basically a way of measuring God's activity and interaction with his creation. Because a big part of God's program was prophecy, prophetic. And the only way you can do that is to have some aspect of time. So eternity is the greater of the two. And so then we talked many times about how we're just passing through time. And about time passing and so forth, going slow, going fast. And so if eternity is the more important of the two, then which passes through the other? And if we have eternity in our hearts, hello, Roman, speaking of time, what? Oh, there's the second what. I love it there. We got some generations going on here. Beautiful thing. So back to time. That if we have eternity in our hearts, then we don't actually pass through time, but time passes through us. And the environment that I expose time to as it passes through me will determine what it looks like when it becomes the past, when it's behind me. And so I got some hours of meditation about that. Like, what environment do I need to create? I can create, part of being created in the Creator's image. So I can create or develop an environment for time to pass through, so that I can actually give it an eternal significance. And I can expose it to the things of eternity, to the things of heaven, so that even though time is a creation, it can be invested for eternity as it passes through eternity that's within me. So that gave me a different perspective on managing time management. So that to me, the management of time had a lot to do with creating an environment within me that time would pass through. So in terms of time management, it's also me management. And what do I want this time to look like? What do I want today to have looked like, or to look like once it's over? And then so start managing my time from the beginning, and from a sense of how I want it to be affected and what I want it to look like at the end of the day. So can I get a witness? Is anybody with me, or is everybody out there on the edge of eternity and can't grasp what's going on here? Talk to me.
I'm writing as fast as I can, everything you say. So when someone else joins the meeting, I was thankful for a hand cramp break. So that's what I do with you, Melvin. You talk and then I just keep writing and hope to God you get distracted so I can have a hand break.
All right. So anyone else, any other ideas about that perspective of time in terms of managing it, that it's more of managing the environment that time passes through as it passes through us as we go through life? So that we're not managing time as a separate entity out there, but it's more of managing the environment that time is exposed to as it passes through us. And again, the reason for that is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, that God has placed eternity in our hearts, and that time is passing through us. And we,
all right. Oh, go ahead.
okay, and also that time gives us a tool with which we can measure the faithfulness of God. And from,
All right.
I've used this quote a lot from my industrial engineer sons, who told me that the primary the premise of industrial engineering is to figure out a way to measure everything and anything, because if we can't measure it, we can't improve it.
Yep.
And the king of measurement sitting here to my left. Yes.
Best friend and mentor.
Yeah, there you go. All right. And then
He crossed 70, so he's looking for younger mentors now.
And then sitting to his left, Caleb, you need to get your head in the, there you go, Caleb Sears. He.
Also favored.
I'm the only non-landlord person.
So, Christy is my partner here in that we have the same landlords. Yeah, kind of part of what we're doing here. Okay, so if we look at time as being an instrument and a tool that God has given us by which we can measure his faithfulness, then how does that affect our perspective and our attitude about time and about what we might call time management, which is what one of the things we're talking about today?
One of the things that I can't remember who told it, could have been you, it could have been a Melvinism. But somebody spoke about the miracles that God made in relation to like turning water to wine. And it wasn't that he miraculously turned water to wine, it's that he had a mastery of time and understood that, you know, over time you can take water to water the plant, to produce the grape, to make the, you know, to process, to make the wine. And so it wasn't that he, you know, in an instant made the wine, it's that he himself has a mastery of time. And the miracle of it is the mastery of time. It wasn't just the changing from water to wine. And you tie that back to all of his miracles throughout scripture. And it's not the miracle, the physical manifestation of the miracle, but it's the mastery that he has of time. And for us to become godlike is to master our own time.
Yes, beautiful. And that was, that was an observation. That was a conversation we had, maybe in Honduras. That was one of my observations about the miracles of Jesus, is that each miracle showed his mastery of either time or space, and sometimes both. And those are the two things that confine us the most, time and space. And he showed his mastery over that and then released us to be able to be masters of time and space. And here again, we show our mastery. We're much more godly, Christ-like even, as we can master our time and show a mastery over time. And again, creative ideas are a big part of mastering time and space. And so in order for us to begin to have a mastery of time and improve our use of time, that's the whole idea of a schedule. Because if we can't measure it, we can't improve it. And so we want to measure time so then that we can see, okay, I spent this much time doing that, and what was the result? And as one of my observations was yesterday, being my first day after I turned 70, was just really feeling differently. I had a different feeling than I did when I turned 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60. But there was something different about being 70. The 70 that was promised in the scriptures. Okay, this is it. Levi and I had this discussion, I think it was yesterday, about the 70 that Solomon talked about. I mean, that was like 3,000 years ago, and they were still talking like 70 years. That's what we're allotted. And we think we've made all kinds of improvements and live a whole lot longer when they actually lived longer a long time ago than we do now, before we corrupted everything. But just the aspect of time management. So just for the lunch and learn aspect, I want us to begin there by adjusting our perspective of time. What is time? And if time was created, what was the purpose of it? And again, I'm proposing that its purpose is for us to be able to measure the faithfulness of God, and for us to be able to measure how godly, how Christ-like we are, by being able to show a mastery over what he has placed within our control, which is our time. So again, like I said, I want to start at the bottom of that rabbit hole. So Christy, what are you thinking? I mean, other than that your food looks tremendous, looks delicious,
It
but
was delicious.
It's fantastic.
Well, I've been thinking about, while you're talking, this podcast that I listened to about rich time in the kingdom. And how there's no time and space in the kingdom that's necessarily measurable as though we're on earth. And how when we align our purposes, our heart, and even our mindsets with kingdom time, we can get done the things so much quicker because we're not bound by the sun and the moon. So just like the physical science of time, in the kingdom is dramatically different. So I like what you said about our time is a measurement on earth, and it should look different when we're aligned with the kingdom. And we should be able to get the things done and get to the places where we need to be when we're on that rich kingdom time versus being bound to the earthly time and constantly feeling like you're running in circles and going from here to there and on that hamster wheel. So it's aligning the true identity of who we are with the kingdom and aligning our mindset and our schedule support.
okay. What I'm hearing there is just gaining some the wisdom of perspective. Okay. Okay, so believe it or not, I have a question for us. What are some things that you say on at least occasionally that you just don't have time for? What,
All the things,
everything?
all the things.
Yes.
Okay, so Christy just gave a panacea answer.
Yes. The answer is yes.
To that. So, of course, those of us who know Christy certainly understand that. Single parent mom with 7 children. So, is that did you didn't name after the 7 dwarfs?
No, I mean, I probably could.
Do a coaching session about who's who later.
Okay, so what are some things other than everything? What are some things that we may vocalize on a repeated basis that we don't have time for? Rest.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I mean, I feel us going somewhere here. What?
No, I'm laughing because it's probably the most true. I don't know. I mean,
It's probably what now? I'm
the
sorry.
most true.
The most, okay, about rest?
Yeah.
Recreation, like taking time for yourself
Yeah,
to just be.
that's the other thing that I was gonna say. The word that I came up with was play.
Okay.
I love
I've just heard like there's so many studies about the importance of play, like taking your mind off of work and like actually there's like a nervous system and like a restful reset that happens during play. That is remarkably important. I also heard once that the opposite, like scientifically brain wise, the opposite of depression is play.
Wow. That's
How cool is that?
powerful.
And that to me, that kind of, it hit something in me. I
Yeah.
don't know if it hit something in y'all hearing that, but it hit something in me of like, that's true.
Okay, wait a minute, you guys saying that again.
Tyler, say that again, because I couldn't understand you.
Oh,
The
yeah.
opposite of what is play?
The opposite of depression is play.
Gotcha.
Does that resonate with you, April?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was a quick agreement there, April.
So my answer, Christy, usually is D, all of the above.
Yes.
That's how I usually answer those questions like that. Yes. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. And one, hey, there he is. Hey,
Yes, I saw him and Roman both a while ago. Yes.
one thing that, one reason or one area that this is, I've been seeing this true is, Levi, is Tucker in the room?
He's
Tucker.
sleeping. He's sleeping.
But I never know how hard.
Yeah.
I So like, he's 15, he's a 15-year-old boy. And so, I mean, we can attribute all kinds of things to that, but he is going through this stage like that. He's just depressed. He's just depressed. He's just depressed. He's just, and I'm not sure that he really even knows all what that entails, but that's the verbiage that he's using. But he's depressed when he's not at play,
Yes,
Hmm.
these are my sons.
You too?
right? Yeah.
Wow.
So, when he's doing something that he loves to do, that he wants to do, that he enjoys, that he chooses, he's happy. Now he will argue with me, which is why I asked if he was awake, because if he's awake and hearing me, then he's going to come to this table and argue, I'm sure. But anyway, so I can see that with a lot of things, with a lot of us, I should say, a lot of people, that if we're not doing something that makes our heart happy and light, then yeah, we could feel a bit of depression coming on.
So Candace, I'm kind of like you. I'm writing slower than people are saying things, but lots of good things to write down there. Okay, so what are we actually doing to ourselves when we don't make time, take time to rest, to recreate? The word nerd's coming out into here again. We pronounce it recreation, but we spell it recreation. And then play. So what are we actually doing to ourselves if we don't manage this tool called time so that we do these things and that we take part in these things?
I know that I feel like I'm constantly on a treadmill, like a hamster wheel of, if I haven't managed time for something, which is one of my most, like this subject, we could talk about this for a long time because I need to hear everything about it. It's my weakest thing I do. And I feel like I'm constantly trying to play catch up and never evenly paced to slow down and do the things I want, except for rare circumstances like holidays, things. So it's just never enough.
Yeah, I'm finding that in life right now. I call it Groundhog's Day right now, the stage of life I'm in.
Ooh.
I go to bed.
I know exactly what he means.
I wake up. I go to bed. I wake up. I go to bed. I wake up.
Yeah.
You look back at it, it's like, well, what did I do yesterday? Well, what was yesterday?
Yeah.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
I have zero idea, but that's also the stage of life I'm in right now. And so what I'm finding is the big boulders in my life that need to get moved. And what do I need to press on those every single day? Even if it's just very little. What do I need to press on that every day so that I'm actually seeing changes over time versus not doing anything about it every day and just kind of existing and getting my job done and making sure my kids are alive and fed. So like with education, I wanted to have my master's degree before 30. Well, that went by really, really fast and it's way behind me. So now I'm looking at, okay, education going forward, do I need to start chipping away at that? Even just like stuff with my kids, like being intentional about having daily devotionals. Like I feel myself say that every day, I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do that today. And then a year goes by and it's like, crap, we haven't done it. And so, yeah, no, I feel like I'm trying to fit the old phrase I loved in the Navy was 1,000 pounds of, and I'll use a better word, poop in a 10-pound bag. So that's what I feel like I'm trying to do every day is fit all that into that little bag.
Why do men always come back to poop? And I'm
Always about the potty language. It's always.
Uh-huh.
Me and my son, we can say poop all day long and just die laughing together. My wife looks at us like we're idiots.
Yes.
You're just a poop McPooperson, and he's like, oh, and he just dies, and he comes name for me. Yes, it's the best. My boys
Okay,
are fun.
so you mentioned something there about big rocks,
Yes.
the big rocks that, and I liked your realistic expression of the big rock and your interaction with it.
Mm,
But it wasn't like put the big rock somewhere, it's just budge them a little bit.
a little bit. You go back to the chopping down a tree, and I love that analogy. It's like you could go out there and chop down a tree and exert all of your energy and chop down that tree in one day, right? Or you can go out there, pick up that axe and do the same amount of effort one time. And over time, that tree is going to fall. But you didn't overexert yourself and take away from other things in life. You took one little step every single day that took you 30 seconds. And eventually that big project comes to completion.
It's
Okay.
Such a hard concept for me.
Okay, why so? Christy said that's a hard concept for her.
I need to be finished, it needs to be done. I need to be done with that. That needs to be off
Checklist.
my plate. I need to not think about the tree anymore, and I need to move on to the next thing. So I
I
tend,
completely, yeah.
Yeah. I tend to over exert. And then I have to recover for a day or two
Yeah.
because I was,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
I don't know which feels better.
I resonate with that, Christy, and I feel like I also do that project's too big. So I'm just not gonna do
Yeah,
it
it's not gonna do it.
because I don't have the capacity to knock it all out in one day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to swing max at it every day because it takes space in my mind to even consider doing that every day.
I relate to all that, yeah.
But I go back to that with scripture and getting to know God on a more personal basis. Is I could go and read the whole Bible in a day, or I could just every single day be consistent, take 15 minutes and read one scripture. Just the same thing over and over and over again. So my big boulders in life are getting more education, learning how to be better stewards of the children that God's entrusted me with. Really truly seeing them as image bearers and not distractions and obligations.
Okay, you said education and then what was children, okay,
Those are my big boulders right now.
yeah, okay. Okay, so kind of what I'm hearing there is to be able to being able to schedule our priorities as opposed to prioritizing our schedule. That we need to identify these big boulders, right? So
Say that
that,
one more time.
okay, what I'm hearing is that in order to schedule our priorities as opposed to prioritizing our schedule, it's helpful to identify these big boulders that we may not be able to move in one day. We can't raise our children in one day. I mean, it'd be
Dang
real,
it.
yeah, dang it. As a matter of fact, a conversation just not long ago of Mo Pearl and I, she said that she still was looking for the time when she would feel like that she had completely raised Melvito.
Wow.
Do you say that about April?
No,
No.
no, I think April's thinking that the time may never come that she's not raising Tucker. Now, Momo didn't put it just like that, but that there was that we've always been engaged. Right, so there's always been something going on. She's always felt a part of what I was doing, and she's felt a drawing to not necessarily tell me what to do anymore, but to be a part of what I'm doing.
Yeah, to be a part of the process.
Yes, part of that process of what I'm becoming, which I think is a beautiful thing. But the difference in, well, let's just talk about that for a moment. What do you feel as a difference when I say those two things? Scheduling your priorities or prioritizing your schedule? What do you hear in that?
When I look at it, I look at how I time block my schedule. And I'm trying to get better about time blocking. I heard from a guy recently who does all of his different priorities in his life, different colors. And so his wife and family are 2 different colors. So like kids and wife are different color, work's a different, ministry's a different. And he weights them all, and then he looks at it from a 10,000-foot view on Sunday and notices the colors. And if he doesn't have purple in for his wife, which is his favorite color, then he's not prioritizing his life correctly, because he knows that he needs to have that time.
It's like he needs
for his wife.
purple every week. And if he
Exactly.
doesn't see purple on his schedule, he
Then
needs to
he's-
fix it.
Yep, he's got to fix it.
I like that.
Okay, y'all with us on that? How you give a, I don't know how you did it, but Tyler did that with my schedule. He gave some colors to different things.
Uh-huh. You're
So-
welcome. I
so-
can teach you that.
So I know he can do it, teach them that.
Yeah.
Does everyone know how to do that?
What?
How to
Time blocking.
time blocking, and you use your calendar, and certain events have a certain color?
I've never done it, but I'm willing to try anything.
Okay,
It's really good because you can, from your week, but instead of looking at it as what did I do this week, you're looking at it as what am I about to do this week? And then you're setting your priorities based on your life circumstances, right? So if you're married, have kids, work, all these things, they all take your priorities. But how do you weight them? So I know that every single week I need to have intentional time with my wife, and that's put in my calendar. I know every single week I need to have a touch point with both my kids. And then I also know that, I've got work to do, I've got meetings to schedule, I've got all of those things, but I'm looking at the calendar from a 10,000-foot view on Sunday and saying, okay, I don't have any purple in this calendar this week. That means my wife is getting missed. So now I need to figure out what I can remove from my schedule to make sure that I prioritize her.
Mhm.
okay, I'm hearing something here. I feel a one-liner coming on.
Write it down.
If I'm telling my time where to go, I don't have to ask where it went.
Yep.
Mhm. I like that.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
That's worth writing down, Malcolm.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the problem living in Groundhog's Day is if I don't prioritize it, then I
Yeah.
have no idea what happened.
I feel like something that comes to my mind with that is I'm either being proactive with my life or reactive with my life.
Yeah.
Either like I'm guiding the course of my life, or my life is controlling me.
Mhm.
And what I'm hearing there is intentionality, proactivity, and like choosing to respond and to initiate rather than just reacting to what's happening in life around me.
Yeah.
That feels very true to me. Like either I'm making the choices or life is just going to happen to me, and everybody else and everything else is making choices for me. And I get to choose like who's being powerful and who's being intentional. And
yes, and this idea, if we get so reactive about it, that we let other people set our schedule, and then we prioritize our schedule. That's what I was talking about there. Okay, this right here, I need to do this, all these things, and then say, okay, what's priority in all this? The other side of that coin is, no, these are my priorities. Like, give them a color. What priorities? I remember hearing this decades ago, still stuck with me. It's a wonderful one-liner. Is that the key to my success is hidden in my daily routines.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's the things that I do each day that are gonna make the difference. It's just one chop of the axe
Mhm.
on this tree. And that it's really more about rhythm. And I remember this in the podcast of Life Works Better with Rhythm, and Clarissa is she's muted on there, but she'll probably still remember this. Clarissa was one when I said, okay, the next series is gonna be Life Works Better with Rhythm, and she said, now what is a white boy gonna be telling me about rhythm?
That's a fair question.
Which is, that was a legitimate question.
Mhm.
But I remember one of the thoughts about that in that series is that rhythm is much more important to music than just the volume of it. You can't make up for a lack of rhythm by just volume. And in life, you can't make up for a lack of rhythm by just activity and
That's good, Melvin.
busyness.
That's a really good thought.
And it's the rhythm that makes the music. It's the rhythm that's the soul of the music. It's what makes it memorable. It's what makes it work.
Yeah. And you don't really want to turn the volume up until the rhythm is right.
Yes.
You don't want to turn the volume on until the rhythm is
Amen.
right, because
Amen.
that's just a disaster.
Yes.
So
And-
would you say you can't be in God's rhythm and, sorry,
No,
I can't.
say that again, Christie?
You said the magical words. I just said you don't turn it on without the rhythm, but you said something about.
Yeah, you don't turn the volume on until you get the rhythm. Yeah, and that rhythm is way more important than volume. And in life, my daily routine is more important than my busyness or activity.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've heard you say, Brad. I don't know that this is exactly what it was. But whenever we confuse activity with productivity or something, what was that thought? Are you with me on that? You remember anything about that?
It's activity, productivity.
That
I do.
I-
I'm trying to
I-
remember what the saying.
Yeah, I think I threw you off on that by just the way I put it, but
Yeah,
that we shouldn't confuse activity with productivity.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it's that rhythm. Okay, so actually in rhythm, and whoever sets the rhythm to a piece of music is actually the one that's managing that whole song. That's why the drummer is very important about that.
Yeah,
Everybody depends on the rhythm section there.
totally. Novito, can I say something about
Yes,
rhythm?
please do.
And we've dialogued about this when you were doing the Life Works Better with rhythm, but rhythm makes me think of habits.
Okay,
So it's what we do every day. And from what I'm learning about habits is doing things takes energy, mental capacity, emotional capacity when we're doing something for the first time. But when we do it over and over again, our brain learns how to do it without using as much mental and emotional energy and brain capacity.
Mm.
So the things that we do habitually, brushing my teeth, like it takes zero brain capacity for me to brush my teeth. And I think one of the goals would be to get to a place in my life, I'll speak for myself here, that the things that I want to do and that are important for me to do, like personal hygiene, also important to everyone around me.
yes.
Appreciate it.
But again, even just following that metaphor of how personal hygiene is important for me, but also how it has an extremely positive effect on everyone around me,
Mhm.
building rhythms, habits in my life that are the things that I want to be doing, and then making those things second nature for me to be doing them. So it takes very little mental and emotional energy for me to do them is where I want to be. Like I want my brain and my subconscious to be my ally so that the things that are most important for me to do are also the things that are easiest for me to do. I have so many reps in doing them that it doesn't exhaust all of my capacity to do the things that I want to do. Does that make sense?
Okay, and what I'm hearing you say there too is that's about the fifth time today that this breeze at the 70th floor just kind of
I love your thoughts.
blew this right out of here. About the rhythm. Oh, here it is. What I'm hearing you say there is that rhythm and habit helps reduce cognitive drag.
100%.
Okay, so if we can decide what things that we need to do, that we should do with eternity in mind,
Mhm.
what habits can I put within this environment right here in this bubble called Novito's life? What rhythm can I establish here that's going to have a very positive effect on time as it passes through here?
100%.
And it's the rhythms that change. And man, if time can come beyond me, and if my past can have a recognizable rhythm, I'm thinking I've done something good. If I'm able to see some structure that things came in play, things got in rhythm, they got in time. That's interesting, huh?
Mhm.
Rhythm is timing. Levi,
All right, so listening to all these all these amazing tools to put into play. And I'm still thinking about the question that you asked a minute ago, the difference between prioritizing your schedule and scheduling your priorities.
Yes,
I'm seeing time connected to a rope, or with a rope connecting us. We're tied to a rope that's tied to the time. And as you talked about, first thing, King Jesus, mastery of time, transfers that to us so that whenever we take partnership with him, we get to become masters of our time. And as we put these tools into play that y'all are talking about, put all this into play to where we are learning, we're in school gaining our mastery of time here. We, before that point, time is dragging us around. That's where we're exhausted. We're getting drugged through everything of life, and it's dragging us. But then as we get this mastery of time, we get to stand up and yank on that rope, and we're the ones pulling time where it needs to be. Just visualizing all of that.
That's a
Okay.
cool thought, Levi.
I like that. So it's like, is my schedule jerking me around, or am I pulling it where it needs to be?
Mhm.
And I'm
Wow.
soaking in the stuff that y'all are saying, because that sounds really nice to not be drugged.
Don't be drug, don't be drug around.
Stop having kids.
That's fair.
We'd have a lot more time.
A fair statement,
We have
yes.
a mastery of time if I could manage my time how I do now, having kids and not have kids.
Right?
I would have so much free time. I don't know what I'd do with it all.
Yeah.
You'd have kids.
I'd have kids. That's what got me into this. Too much time.
Sorry.
Come on in, Jennifer, yes. Come in and join us. Yeah, you got one over there. Yeah, watch out all that paraphernalia there.
We're just staying warm.
Yeah, I did.
Welcome to the party. That's outfit, so you look cool.
Great Bible. I love a tattered Bible.
Yes, it looks like we're talking about time management, Jennifer. Looks like you put some time into that Bible.
I put some time in.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, so Jennifer, you want to stick your head up there a little bit and get in the camera just so we can introduce you. This is Jennifer Drake.
Where's the camera? What do I look at?
Look out at the screen. And Jennifer is a new member of our Principio coaching family. And she is being coached right now. And she's in our 90-day total life reset program. And but also with the view of turning that into the coach certification program somewhere down the line.
Yes.
So Jennifer, we're talking about time and time management primarily.
Okay.
So what was it with you with a busy schedule? What was it with you that made you feel like that you should include coaching, and especially in this context? What was it that made you feel like that you should prioritize some time for this?
The accountability and someone else to help me reach the visions that have been cast already. Just someone to walk alongside me, ask me questions, keep me on track. I tend to veer off, so I need some guidance.
Okay, hey, are we hearing that? I mean, Jennifer just brought up something that probably would not have even been mentioned had you not come into this conversation, but yet that is so important. So someone just try to give me a summary of what Jennifer just said and how it applies to time management.
I almost need to repeat it.
I need to repeat it.
So I almost need to repeat it, yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so I need accountability because I have a vision that's been cast. But to get there, I need some accountability and help staying on track because my personality and lack of discipline that needs to be exercised I tend to veer off course and start new things. So I need someone to help me.
Yeah, so
Stay on
you
track.
said this is your highest priority at the moment,
Mm,
and you're shifting everything to make sure that happens. It's impactful,
Yes, it is.
looking at the things in our life that we're not shifting all of our efforts towards. This is new,
Right.
but looking at us and where we are now and our biggest issues and where we're putting our effort. And to make a change to go get a life coach and learn to become a life coach, it's huge.
Mhm.
And I like your art blue thing.
I went to the thanks for Friendsgiving and it was appropriate for that.
Perfect.
True blue,
True blue.
true blue friends.
Royal blue,
Yes, royal blue.
We call
I'll
it
take
art blue.
that.
Arc blue,
Yeah,
Art
Art
blue.
Realty.
Yeah. Okay, so what other things was someone hearing whenever she said that? About accountability, that she felt like that's what she needed?
I can tell you what I'm hearing.
Okay, tell me.
I can't do time management all by myself.
There you go.
What?
I think I get into, I live life better when I'm not doing it alone.
Come
And
on.
whether it's, having a life coach, or just having a friend, or just having a place where I can just be honest and have externally process. This is what I'm doing with my time. Here are what my priorities are. Here's my intentions. Being able to have that, dialogically, being able to have a dialogue about that with someone and, that I need that. Like, I can't just sit down and make the best plan for my life all by myself in my time. Some people might have the capacity to do that. I don't. I'm not sure if anybody does, but that's just my vulnerability. I need help figuring out what to do with my time. And I need some accountability and some partnership in really prioritizing well and people asking me questions about it and thinking deeper about it.
I have a thought too. Can I add?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so something I've realized about myself and I've realized about other people, a lot of times we don't know what our gifts are. We can't see all around. But if there's someone that is gifted at calling other people's gifts out and speaking life over them, then perhaps there's something that we didn't think about because we didn't know it about ourselves.
It also empowers you when somebody else sees that in you.
Yes,
Hmm.
And certainly I would also just say our blind spots.
our blind
I would
spots.
rather someone
Yeah.
call out my strengths than my blind spots, but I need someone also to help me in
Yes.
those areas. My blind spots and weaknesses, because our strengths can be blind spots too.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Never heard that.
I just want to say I love you guys. I've got to get back to work. So be blessed. I'll get an hour for lunch, so I've got to run to the restroom and be back, but I enjoyed this time. Thank you so much.
Yes, and this is being recorded, right?
Sure is.
Okay, and we'll make this as part of the archive of time management, Lunch and Learns.
All right.
Candace, it's so good I can hear your smile even, not just see it.
Bye, Candace.
Okay, so this aspect of having some help
Mhm.
for our time management. That it's something that, okay, so I just got this perspective on this. My personal time management is something that I am completely responsible for, but that I can't efficiently do it on my own. So what does that mean that should be a priority for me? If it's primarily my responsibility, but I can't do it on my own, so what does that mean?
You need to ask for help.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we need to be involved with someone else. We need some accountability. And I love, I think you were quoting someone else, maybe someone from Bethel, or I don't know, maybe it was just your idea,
We'll
but
find out in a second.
yes, but it was this thing about that what accountability really means is, tell us that.
Accounting for your ability.
Yes, we need someone to account for our abilities.
So good.
So when we get an
So
account of,
It is.
pardon?
I was just saying that's so simple.
Yes, it is. And again, that's kind of word nerdy. Kind of like responsibility is being able to respond. If someone is irresponsible, they're, for some reason, they're not able to respond. It may be their choice or whatever, but accountability is giving an account for your abilities. So to look at that in a positive way, that as coaches, one of the main things that we can help people with is to manage their time, which is the most important aspect of existence. Because if time is used properly, you can get the money that you need. You can strengthen the relationships that you need to feed your soul.
We don't call it spending time for no reason.
Yeah. Or wasting
That's good.
time, or investing time,
Yeah.
or taking time, or making time. We make money. We make time. So as coaches, and this is a good perspective on this for me, which someone asked me one time, said, do you ever coach yourself? And I said, like every day, asking myself questions, the hard questions. And part of coaching ourselves would be to put ourselves in a position so that someone else can help us account for our abilities. And that you have abilities. So I just want to say this in closing for this particular session, is that each and every one of us has the ability to control your time and your calendar. And so I have this question here as just a closing question. Whose schedule is the most important one in your life? Caleb? Whose schedule is the most important in your life?
Yeah, I think that I definitely make my schedule probably the most important in my life. But I think if we're sitting here, and I think almost just to jam a lot of this stuff together, right? We've got time as the measurement of God's faithfulness, right? And then almost this discussion about rhythm as this experience in which that we get to see God as He makes things simpler on us, as we get to free our mind from the drag of like what that is, right? And almost this thing of when we partner with other people, that we get to see God more clearly, because it's easier to do routines, it's easier to do rhythm with others, right? We end up finding ourselves on His schedule when we bond with other people.
Okay,
And I
say
think
that
that's
again. We end up finding ourselves on
His schedule.
God's schedule when we
Bond with other people.
bond with other people.
When we build those rhythms, I feel like.
Okay, we're gonna put a pin in it right there. That's a great. Say that one more time, Caleb, with meaning.
I'm terrible at repeating things because I say things.
You should be good because you were a pastor.
I mean,
Bill Johnson is the only person I know who's good at that.
but essentially, I mean, the gist of it is that we find ourselves on His schedule when we put ourselves in rhythm with other people. I think.
We find ourselves on God's schedule, in God's schedule.
I like that, Caleb.
We find ourselves on God's schedule. When
we are in rhythm with other people.
That feels doable.
Yeah.
wow, I just heard an empowered Christie over there. That feels doable. But what about that sounds doable to you, Christie?
You feel like if you got in rhythm with your kids, that it would allow you to be more on God's schedule than the frantic schedule of being a parent of 7 kids?
Yeah. It's more of the alignment of connecting
Yeah,
than tasking.
More the alignment of connecting rather than
Tasking.
tasking.
There's a good book I read recently, and I'll have to send it to you. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it has to do with family rhythms. And creating the family rhythms so that the kids see it, emulate it, and have a clear expectation of what the day looks like. And it's much more easy, like for my kids, because they're young, and I can force them into those rhythms than maybe your kids who span a much larger age group. And I mean, how's your oldest now? Yeah. So finding those rhythms with older kids may be a little bit different, but at least establishing them. And then I feel like when I have rhythms with my kids and my wife, that everything's just easier. And I open up time for other things almost.
I think that's a big part of like, when you're with other people, I think it's a lot easier to recognize the things that you need to let go in the process of.
Yeah.
Because if rhythms create less cognitive drag, that means that new things create more cognitive drag. In it. And so being with somebody that's been there, done that, or walking alongside, it's a lot. It kind of
Yeah.
cements those pathways a little bit more.
Okay.
And that's what you need to let go in the process.
All right, for time management, we're gonna sign off.
Yeah, cause I gotta go.
Get
work.
I got
Another meeting with you in a minute.
Yes, okay. And we'll post some things. And also this, whenever this downloads and everything, it'll be available out there. And thanks a lot for everyone that joined us. Bless you.
Thank you.
And so Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you, lift up his countenance upon you, and give you his shalom and his chiro, his peace and his joy. Amen.
let it be.
April, I can't see you there.
Hey, you can't see me?
No, you got camo on.
Oh. Hey, look,
She just.
Yeah,
No.
but listen, so silly, can you see the turkey hiding for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I can now.
Oh,
Nice.
that's smart.
All righty.
Okay, listen, look, I just want to make you feel like you're missing out on something. Do you see this
Yes.
and this?
Oh, no, you're,
To be that way.
And I hired out for it.
oh my, John Boy is scraping the popcorn acoustic off the ceiling.
Just the piece that he needs to patch from hurricane stuff that we haven't fixed yet. So, anyway, so now he's going to try to match it. He's got the hopper and all the things. So I just knew you would appreciate that.
Yes, that is a blast from the past, and I'm so glad John Boy has taken care of that. And just,
TCB.
yeah, just to kind of put this in context, Johnny worked for me a long time ago, and that's when he learned to do what he's doing right now.
To scrape the popcorn
Yeah,
off.
and how to make it match and everything else in construction.
Did you ever have a season of life when you sprayed the popcorn on?
Yeah,
And then you had a season of life when you scraped it all off?
yes. And I lived long enough to spray a ceiling with popcorn acoustic and then lived long enough to scrape it off and redo it. All
There
right.
was even a time when glitter was involved in the popcorn ceilings, I remember.
Yes,
Dear
glitter.
dang. I feel like
Yes.
we need to do a lunch and learn about the life lessons and principles around that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Blessings. So Dubs, how do we end this?
Press the button.
Well, Jennifer, good to see you. So,